other person.
Coming much more online, so we talk more about pausing. But maybe you could say a little bit more about why you perceive it's hard for people to pause, and then what you see the value of this kind of pause for people.
Uh-huh. Well, that's something I feel like life has really gifted me because I've had a series of breaking out of boxes. And each time you break out of a box, if you don't pause, it's messy. It's really messy. And you only need one or two of those really messy times to go, ooh, there's got to be a better way.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first breaking out of the box in my early 20s when I was in college, it was very messy. And so when I needed to do it again, when I graduated from college, I spent 1 year teaching school. And then the next year, I moved to Europe. And that was a huge breaking out of the box. And I did it much smoother. It's not that it was really clean, but much smoother. And it was because I stopped. And I took that summer to travel by myself. I backpacked through Europe and I had different resources and different ways that life met me before I had to actually figure out, well, what do I want to do next?
Mm-hmm.
And what I chose to do was to stay in Europe and teach school there and let, basically my old life I just let it go. But if I hadn't paused and camped my way through England, Scotland, and Wales that summer, there's no way I would have been brave enough to do that. No way.
So it was the pausing, not staying in teaching in Michigan, going there and having a summer where you literally didn't know you were going to stay there and teach. That wasn't even
I
on the
had
radar.
no,
Oh.
I had no idea. I didn't even know I wanted to,
Oh, yeah. The
you
clean
know?
slate was that clean. Like, get me out of here. I don't know what's
Yeah,
next.
I had a dream or a vision to go to England because I'd been studying English literature for most of my, adolescence and a young adult life. And I was going to go see where they lived and where they wrote. And so I was following that dream. And that dream actually was the pause that went, oh, life could be really different.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I've come to those places where, oh, life could be really different, like when I stopped teaching at all and went to massage school,
Mm-hmm.
life could be really different. But
Yeah.
how could it be really different? And if you don't pause, if I didn't pause, I would I would create a big mess for myself. It's like digging a big hole or having to climb a huge mountain to get where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
If I pause, life comes and meets me and the doors begin to open and I get shown a way. And so that has just taught me the value of providing that place where people can wait, just wait. If you wait, it will get easier.
And that has probably been the hardest thing for me in the journey of you helping me is your constant invitation to not know and to wait. Because what I do, and I think a lot of other people probably do this too, is I go into my intellect trying to figure out what's next. And I try really hard and I go down a lot of different roads and I burn myself out and I get more frustrated because I can't figure out the answer. And yet, what I've learned over the past 20 years is what you're speaking to is when I'm in one of those spots, I have to stop. But it's so magnetic and impulsive and reactive and natural and not natural, but habitual to not stop because there's a panic in the system. I got to figure out what's next. I got to know. I got to. And so
Uh-huh.
I think that's one of the powers of the space you're holding is it's a forced pause with someone holding you there because doing it alone feels for me sometimes, and I'm getting better and better, but it feels almost impossible.
It's crazy making
Yeah,
because not only does your mind spin, but our culture basically says, well, do something,
exactly.
do anything, just
Yeah.
do it.
And
And
then
it's like,
everyone's like, what are you going to do next? Well,
right.
and everybody wants to help you do something instead of
Yes.
like, sweetie, let me slow down with you. Let's just talk about like, what could you do to get some space and breathing room and not think about it right now?
Right.
It's like,
Let's just, yeah, yeah. So I'm going to put you on the table and help you feel something different.
That's right.
I'm going to take you on a walk through the aspen trees so that you actually have a different experience. You really actually need to change the venue sometimes
Mm-hmm.
to get permission from your brain to even rest.
Mm-hmm.
And that resting and quieting and soothing and comfort and ease are not actually natural. They weren't for me anyway. I had to learn that. And when I learned it, I became really valuable. And now it's a matter of course for me, but it's also one of the really sweet things that I get to offer because most people don't know how to do that for themselves.
Yeah. I can't think of a greater invitation, to anyone in our culture to say, stop. You don't know what to do? Stop. Get some support, get some allies to stop spinning your mind and open up your senses and your being to what else is possible. Because that's, I think, what you were speaking to with this woman who became, a jeweler. And it's like, you can't know that from your mind. And what does it take to wait for life to show you what's next?
Yes, yes. And can you be patient enough if it doesn't happen in 3 days, if it doesn't happen in 3 weeks, if it doesn't happen even in 3 months? Can you be patient enough to keep coming back to the question, what? And get really curious
Yeah.
about what life wants from you and what you want from life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it feels like it's so much about waiting for things to get revealed, but it's at the same time letting it get revealed inside of our own hearts of what we want.
Yes.
And I know for myself, when I put myself in boxes, I get so identified with whatever that is in my box that it's very hard to know what I want if it's in opposition in any way. So, starting a business that has erotic power in it while being a business consultant is insane to a part of me. And it
Yes.
made no sense. And I was terrified. And yet, some part of me knows that it's necessary in the world. And I don't know how it's going to, I still don't. It's 3 years later, and I still don't know how I'm going to navigate that. But I think there's just this deeper trust, but it's hard to access if we don't know that our desire matters too.
Yes. And if we don't have our desire manifest and reinforced,
That's it.
actually, yeah, actually held by somebody else who could actually say, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. How are you going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
that
Or,
curiosity, yeah,
yeah.
doesn't come forward to meet you, then it's a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of people that I work with and when I think about my working with you, often what's needed is permission to trust what we feel.
Yes.
I think that's what my experience is of how you show up with people and how you definitely show up with me is that clarity comes when somebody says, "Oh, I see where you're coming from," or "I get what you're saying," or I see you.
Hmm.
And simultaneously interrupting looping patterns that are not who we are. And it takes skill to see that within ourselves. But I feel like that's what you offer to other people is
Hmm.
like seeing where the storyline is going off the rails and taking
Uh-huh.
someone out of their body and out of their hearts.
Right. And where it becomes like part of the wall of the box. It's just like, oh, this, it's always been that way, therefore it has to stay that way. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, no, 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 no. What if we climbed over that wall? Or what if we make a little door? What happens then?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.